Welcome back, everybody. This is a recording on the top 12 picks of the draft so far. Thought it'd be fun to review. It's a really interesting draft. There's a lot of talent at the top here. We can see on the right side here what the demands are. So, if this is the draft pool right now, first overall pick we had was Robbie Cazares. Robbie was an interesting pick to me. I thought there was a couple guys that had the really high ceilings, but what I realized when I looked more, it was probably because the bonus demand was so little that he went this high. The other guys at this point all wanted like 7-8 million. This guy's bonus demand was only 700K. So you get this guy and you save like $6 million, and you get a guy that has 80 contact and 65 power for 700,000. It's an absolute steal if you compare him to like those July 2nd international free agent guys. That all cost like $5 million. So get a guy with 40, 80 contact first overall, 700K, not bad at all. The guy has a crazy advanced current too. It's 40 and 35s across the board there. Played in the Florida State there. Really good college baseball. Absolute freak. Hit 14 home runs. Really heavy gap power. So guy can actually play first base too, 30 infield range and air. So probably can't play too much left field there at only 35 range. Might fall to 30 there. But he's going to be a really high level DH or first baseman there. Line drive guy, extreme pull. It's going to be a monster masher from the left side there. Probably some pretty big splits. 15 higher gap power against righties and lefties. But like I said, if you get to do the Baltimore Orioles strategy, going under slot there at the top of the draft and then save money, and you can get for a kind of expensive guy in the second round there. So really interesting pick. Not too many guys with 80 contact potential in most drafts. So pretty cool to get a guy like that with that kind of a bat. Second overall, you have the super high ceiling, Andy Hill. Andy Hill is a monster talent. So he went second overall. I'll pull this over to the other screen here, to the New York Mets. So Andy Hill has 80 contact potential and 75 home run potential, my scout says. The OSA has him at 35 currents, which is crazy. The guy is really interesting because he's a 50 runner with 50 stealing base running. Really good runner for a 6'8" guy. Feel like a real life like tight end in football or something. Just an absolute freak at 6'8". $7.5 million bonus, but he's definitely worth it with how freakish that bat is. Also has a crazy current gap power. The thing that makes him so interesting to me is the 50 current outfield range. So even though the arm and air are a little bit low, there's not too many balls hit to left field. I think it's like 1.4 balls per game are hit to the corner outfields in baseball. So the top guys get like 0 to 3 errors a year. He might get you like 6 or 7 errors out of 162 game season out there, and probably give you like a -10 zone range, which is only going to cost you like a few runs a season, but he's going to more than make up for it with his bat. So he could probably actually survive out there left field pretty good. Be a huge runner with gives you like 40 home runs and like 120 RBIs. Just an absolute masher there with a 1700 OPS plus his senior year of high school there, hitting 480, hit 527 last year. So just an absolute monster there. The new game absolutely loves him there. They jumped him from like a 30 to a 60i there. So just a crazy jump, 30 plus contact, 25 plus power there. So it's an absolute freak. I don't think that was a new game, actually. I think that was just a crazy jump he had. Because, actually, no, yeah, we switched over the new game in December there, probably. Either way, just an absolute credible talent there at the top of the draft there, going second overall, the Mets. Third overall is Jerry Swain, one of my favorite players in the draft. This is probably the most talented guy in the entire draft. Jerry Swain is a high school center fielder that has 65 range with 65 running. Crazy athlete. But he also has a 75 contact tool. And one of the highest current contact and avoid Ks you'll ever see out of a high school bat. Almost all high school bats have like 20 current contact. Some of the top guys have 25, and then like the very high level first round picks have like a 30. So when you have a 35, that's like as good as a high school bat it's like you'll ever see. That means essentially he can go to A ball right away as an 18-year-old. That's like just the really top level hitters at a high school only have that, like the Bryce Harpers of the world and like the real life Tamar Johnson guy has like a 30-35 right out of high school. So this guy is insane. Probably literally actually survive even at high A with how good he is defensively and running wise right out of high school. He's that special. He has, even like the home run is 55 there. So even though it's only 25 current, that's going to take a few years to develop. But he's only 18 years old. So even if that takes like 4 years, that's pretty natural. The guy, I wouldn't be surprised at all if this guy was in the major leagues at 20 years old. 21 years old, already playing a decent center field. Even if the power is still only like a 35-40 at that point, he could probably be like a 50-55 contact already by the time 2033 rolls around. So it's an absolute freak of nature. Guy that was committed to San Diego State, but definitely won't see college baseball. The guy's going to be signed for sure. So it's an absolute mega talent there. Not too many guys you ever see like that have like 75 contact, 55 power. True 5-tool player that's absolute plus absolutely everything. Plus runner, plus contact, plus power. plus defense, plus range, just incredible. He even has a 35-60 avoid K, so he won't strike out a lot. To make a ton of contact, hit for some really good. That's crazy. I didn't even talk about the gap power. 55 current gap power, just insane. So the guy's gonna be a guy that mashes doubles and triples all day. So just an incredible talent there, going third overall. Fourth overall, we have Josh Benson. Josh Benson is another high school bat that has the crazy contact power and gap power combination. Also has a really high avoid K2. Not many first basemen that have the 65 power that can hit like 30, 40 home runs a year have that kind of avoid K. So really nasty. Definitely a first baseman DH type. Can't really play anywhere else. Not a good runner at all, but the bat is just so special. Guys like that don't really follow the top 10 because the bat is just so valuable. A guy should be a guy you have to be real patient with only 20 current eye, but in a few years, we'll see. He could be a guy that already is at like 40 contact, 40 power, hitting home runs at high A there, like 20 years old or something. So really advanced bat. Was committed to UCLA, but probably won't make it there. Also a lefty power bat too, which is nice. Solid teammate. No negatives there on the mental side of things. So pretty cool, safe prospect. That's a big power bat there. Next up is probably my favorite pick of the draft. My buddy Tyler there picked the guy here, Boris here. Boris is a really good reliever, probably like a 5th or 6th round relief prospect. 60, 60, 60 across the board with an elite fastball. Really good slider, really nasty 2-pitch combination, 98 miles an hour there, power pitcher, over the top. But he's not really a reliever. He's actually a catcher. So the guy has 60 catch ability, and he has a little bit of a noodle arm. That's probably only going to cost you like maybe 10, 15, 20 stolen bases a year at most. Compared to a catcher with a higher arm, but that's only going to cost you like a few runs a season. But he's going to more than make up for it with probably the best offense profile you'll ever see out of a catcher. The guy has 60 catch ability, and he has 65 contact, 65 eye. So he's a catcher that's going to probably have a chance to have like a 375 on base percentage if he lives up to his ceilings or even gets to 90% of them. Absolutely amazing profile. So any catcher that essentially has, almost every catcher in baseball has like a 40 to 45 contact and power across the board with like 60, 70 ability, and that's like your average major league catcher. This guy is going to be a 6, even if he gets to like 55 contact, 50 power, 55 eye, just incredible. He's how much better he'll be offensively than all the other catchers in baseball. The other cool thing is he's a pretty good runner. Most catchers have 20 and 25 running, first baseman catcher type profiles. This guy's actually like almost a 50 runner, so is a really advanced runner for a catcher that can move around the base pass really well athletically and hit for super high batting average. Just incredible, credible, rare profile. And there's like very rare. There's like a catcher pitcher two-way player don't even exist in real life. So this guy can actually probably eat you like 20 innings a year in the majors there. Really high movement, so probably give you some low leverage innings there and help your bullpen when you're real tired there. So it's one of the coolest guys ever, and probably the coolest part about all of it is his nickname's the Tall One when he's 5'9". So absolutely hilarious overall profile with him. How ironic, the very next pick, Mike Dorn. So the last pick's name's the Tall One for a 5'9" guy, and then the very next pick after him was a guy named Mike Dorn who has a 6'6" profile, and his nickname's Shorty. So pretty ironic there, back to back. 70 power potential. This guy's like Aaron Judge. I know everyone that's 6'6" with big power plays corner outfield gets compared to Aaron Judge, but he really is a lot like him. Also has the low avoid K, but super high contact and home run power, kind of like Judge. Also has a monster arm like Aaron Judge. Really cool. The OSA thinks this guy's like Barry Bonds, 80 contact, 80 home run power with a 60 eye. So my scout has an 80 arm on him. The OSA has a 70, but this guy's incredible corner outfield prospect with 6'6", solid runner too, 45 base running. Guy has a major home run potential. So this guy that could be like a 7 WAR corner outfielder if he lives up to the contact and gets to all those ceilings in his approach there. Amazing talent. So the OSA thinks he's, like I said, like a godsend. So we'll see with my scout at the 60 contact or the 80 contact OSA if he's somewhere in the middle there. If he's a little closer to one of those two, we'll see. Incredible talent there. To go 6 overall, the White Sox will keep an eye on him. Next 2 picks are really cool. These guys are both really advanced college bats. Madera here, Danny Madera is the next pick. This guy is the most advanced bat in the draft by quite a significant margin. I think on Excel, I have a little thing on Excel that kind of adds together their the current contact, current home run power, current eye, and current avoid, and kind of weights them based on just my opinion. So I think I have it weighted like a little heavily in contact, eye, and home run power, and then quite a bit less in avoid, K, and gap. And based on the ratings, his current stuff comes out to like a 44, and no one else in the entire draft is over like a 37 or 38. So he's like a full standard deviation better currently than anyone in the draft. It's not even close. So by far the most advanced bat in the draft is what I'm trying to say. 60 avoid K current. So this guy hit 20 home runs back-to-back years in college. He had 54 home runs over a 3-year period. So just an amazing, amazing college player that can come in and probably dominate high A or even double A right away. Guy should be in the majors within like a year and a half. So some amazing talent. Played left field or first base. Guy has a really good profile at either spot. Could be a really plus defender at first base or like an average left fielder. And then the guy, like I said, 70 home run potential. So it's not even like the currents are really high and the potentials are like average. It's like he's got the crazy high currents and sky high potential. So it's an amazing, amazing advanced bat. Can't wait to see him mash at high A and have like 3 WAR in his first year there probably. Next pick is pretty similar. He's just the infield version. Jerry Alvardo is probably the best infielder in the draft. There's like no super elite shortstop, second baseman, third baseman in this draft, except for Alvardo. Reminds me a ton of Alex Bregman. Alex Bregman's really similar, probably has like a similar range and arm combination with the big similar contact and power out of college. Both guys are pretty good at everything. Bregman is probably like a 65 contact, 60 power guy too in real life. So this guy really has Bregman written all over him, in my opinion. A really advanced 22-year-old college guy from Arizona State, wants $4 million. The guy should be able to come in and dominate high A right away. Pretty much the only thing that's not great is his base running. Even his eye doesn't look great, but 30-50 is still really good. It just kind of doesn't look as insane as all his other categories are so high, but that's still really solid. Like a college bat that has a 30-50 eyes, passes all the check marks. So guy has crazy utility profile too. The guy can play like 15 different positions there, it looks like. So amazing guy to bring into your system. Play third base most likely, or right field are probably his 2 best positions. Could also has such a good bat. He could be like a high level first baseman too with a 70 profile there. So amazing dude. And the best of all is his mentals. He has a high leadership and work ethic. So a guy I thought would probably go top 3 in the draft. But some of the teams surprised me a little bit and were willing to be patient, take those crazy high ceiling high school bats. I loved Alvardo though, just because I think he's so much better than all the other infielders. There's just no third baseman, second baseman, first baseman like him. So it's an amazing pick there and really good value in my opinion to get him 8th overall. Next 2 picks we have Rob Shepard and Lash. These are the 2 of the best pitchers in the draft. The Reds took both of them. Last year they took Lash in the second round, and then the new game had him jump from 40 to 60 control, and they took him again. So Shepard is the crazy high ceiling. Shepard is a lefty that has a 45-65 stuff combination, which is insane. 3 major league pitches at 55, 50, and 55. Probably the best slider in the draft is a 75. An elite fastball, 55-65 out of a starting pitcher with crazy stamina. So 6'6". This is like Nick Lodolo, just a guy that has absolutely everything you need. 5 pitches, lefty, 6'6", monster 99-mile-an-hour velo. Really good hold. Just has absolutely everything. The low work ethic is pretty much the only red flag, and the other thing is his control and movement are just a tad low for the currents, and that's not even that low, just for like a top 10 pick pitcher. Some of those other guys at the top of the draft maybe had like 35 or 40s there, but the profile of the ceiling is just so sky high, it's worth the risk, even if it's a little bit 5 or 10 lower than those other guys, just because the potential is at 65, 60, and 55 with how many pitches he has. That's what aces look like 6 WAR aces. So guy turns into Verlander or something one day potentially. It's just worth it. Guy's a lefty that wants $8.5 million, so he definitely knows his talent level. Wants a lot of money, but he's probably worth it. Just so goddamn good. Next up, we have Lush. Was it Lash or Lush? Vince Lash, yeah. Vince Lash is also guy that is going to go to Cincinnati. This guy just looks a little bit different. He's a lot safer. He's not quite the sky-high ceiling with the high stuff the other guy has, but he's also a lefty, so they get 2 of the elite lefties in the draft. What a nasty combination for the Reds. This guy is the best changeup in the draft. He has 5 pitches, all plus. Every single one of them is like pro-ready right now, so this guy's as close to pro-ready as it gets. All he needs is a little bit of control there, and you can throw him right in the majors. Probably pitching double-A like right now, almost high double-A. So it's just really like a Reed Detmers clone, where he's just like a lefty with all those pitches and super advanced profile out of college. Went to Hawaii, so they got a guy from Florida and the other guy from Hawaii, East and West Coast. Really interesting to see which guy turns out better. Obviously, the other guy's ceiling is sky high. This guy's a little bit safer, more of a safe bet to be like a really good number 2 or 3 arm in your rotation. The other guy has like ace potential, but definitely a lot lower floor. So both really interesting picks. Can't wait to see which one turns out better. I wouldn't be surprised at all if both of them turn out to be in that starting rotation in a couple of years. And then the last 2 picks here, we have Kevin Faulkner. Kevin Faulkner is a beast. Kevin Faulkner is a major power bat center fielder. He didn't go quite as high as some of those other high school bats just because the contact potential isn't quite as crazy as some of those guys that went above him in the draft, like 70 and 65s. But this guy only has 50, which is still pretty solid. But it's the power and the eye combination that I love. So he's like a high ISO power guy. Should have a really good walk rate and ton of home runs. Play really good defense. Play center field, right field at a super high level. Another 5-tool guy that does everything really well. Super plus power and plus defense. It's a really nice combination. Another lefty bat too. Has just amazing talent there. So just a really cool pick to get outside of the top 10 there. And then at number 12 overall, Pete Laskowski. Pete is a really interesting player. Pete at first looks really raw. You might think he isn't quite as, the currents aren't quite high enough to take in the top 10, but when you look at the ceiling, it's just so insane. He's a high school bat that's a young 18-year-old that has 60, 60, 60, 60, and he's just a guy you stash in your minors for 4 or 5 years. He'll be really slow developing compared to some of those guys that have 35 and 40 currents. But this guy, you never know. He could jump from like 25 to 35 contact in like one progression. But this guy is a guy that's just that ceiling is just so rare. I actually searched up here before we started this video, and these are the only guys in the entire FTD world that have 27 guys that have the 60-60-60 combo. And you can see how special, almost rare, every single one of them is. Pretty much it's all, these guys don't really count because they're like 15, 16-year-olds. Those probably won't be that good in a couple of years. So it's just him at 18, and then a couple guys in the minors that are all just sky-high talents. AJ Sheets was like a top 5 pick last year. And you got Ben Crocker, first baseman, that has no defense, but all that across the board. And you got Gomez, who has another crazy profile across the board, first baseman. So it's essentially literally just him, this freakish top 5 prospect from San Diego. That's an elite center fielder that looks like a superstar. And then you get the one corner outfielder that's like a left fielder, first baseman also, 6'7". This guy's another freak. And then it's all just superstars. That's essentially what that profile is, how rare that 60-60-60 thing is. You get Mike Williams, Adley Rutschman, Ohtani. You get Andrew Vaughn, Gavin Lux. You get the super talented third baseman there from Toronto, DH guy, Jared Kelenic, Pete Armstrong, Bellinger, Royce Lewis, all the superstar MVP candidates. So that's essentially how short that list is. It's essentially like 24 guys if you don't count those 16-year-olds. And then just all the highest ceiling bats in the entire minors, just the top like 7 bats pretty much. So that's why that guy went 12th overall, even though his currents are low, just because you just do not see that combination very often. Just so even if he gets to like 90% of that, he's like a 50-50-50. It'd be like a Zach Veen type profile, corner outfielder with a big bat, some nice power. So really interesting top 12 so far. Almost all just heavy power bats with the 2 college arms there. And you get the 2 center fielders that are both super talented, Jerry Swain, Kevin Faulkner. And then you get the really good infielder there, Alvardo, and then just a couple corner bats. You get Mike Dorn and Madera here. A couple left fielders, Laskowski, and then just the power first baseman there going first and second overall. So really cool draft. We'll see if some more pitchers come off the board here at the end of the first round. We have quite a bit of picks left over. So I just thought it'd be really fun to kind of go over the top talents in the draft. I love draft time of year. It's just, I have a lot of fun ranking those guys. So I'm new to the league here, so it's kind of nice to catch up a little bit and learn some of these young guys. Anyways, that's it for this episode. Maybe I'll make another one kind of going over like picks 13 to 30 or something. We'll see. Cheers, guys.